Hello everyone, Parallel here. Welcome back to Star Trek Online. As you can see from the banner floating behind my character here, it is the 8th anniversary of Star Trek Online. That's right, this MMO is 8 years old, and that is pretty incredible. So yeah, let me just say congratulations to Cryptic. It is quite an accomplishment to have an MMO last for this long, so very, very impressive. Now, one nice thing about this anniversary is there's actually quite a bit of new content coming along. So with the start of this year's anniversary event, there is a new featured episode. There's also a new system called Reengineering. I talked about that a little bit in a previous video, but I will talk about it more here and actually take a look at how the system works. And then there's also the 8th anniversary event itself with the standard queue event where you'll be able to go around and collect Omega particles and get some rewards. And the reward is a very nice looking Bajoran ship. So this time we're getting a, what is it called? The Daenerys Bajoran Interceptor, Tier 6. That is the event ship this year. So that is what you'll be grinding for in this event. And on top of all that, there's actually something that's not really, part of the patch notes, but still coming at the same time here, which is the new Discovery Lockbox. Now that's actually caused a little bit of controversy, but I think it's a good sign at least that Cryptic now has licensing to use the Discovery, the new Discovery IP. This is the first new Star Trek series in quite a long time, so it's nice to see Cryptic, having the license and actually incorporating all of that content into the game, regardless of how you feel about Discovery, the show itself, which is, a bit of a controversial show. I understand that, but I think from a game standpoint, it is definitely a very positive thing to see, the new license, the new IP making it into this game. So that means that they at least have a healthy relationship with CBS to be getting the licensing for all the new materials for Discovery. So that's great. But I do want to take a look at the Discovery Lockbox and see what is inside of there also in this video. And of course, take a look at the patch notes too. There were some patch notes that came along with this event, and a couple changes in there that are noteworthy. I'm not going to go through the entire patch notes, but there were a few things that did stand out to me, and I will be talking about those. Alright, so let's pull up the interface here, and let's take a look here. So if you pull up the help menu, you will be able to see what is new in the 8th anniversary event. So here's the new featured episode. It's called Skylla and Charybdis. I actually had to look this up. So Skylla and Charybdis is actually a Greek legend, and it kind of relates to, it's kind of it's kind of a saying that is similar to, or kind of the origin of the saying is probably a better way to say it. So an origin of the saying between a rock and a hard place. So the legend of Skylla and Charybdis is that Skylla is, you have that old image of a kind of a ship sailing, on the ocean, and there are two obstacles that it has to avoid. On the left is a, large rocky shoal with a sea monster. That's Skylla, and then there's on the right-hand side there's a large whirlpool, and that's Charybdis. So there's, basically you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You're stuck between this rocky shoal with a serpent, and you're stuck between, you have to navigate, between that and a whirlpool, which is Charybdis. So that's pretty cool. I was actually very interested to find out what the origin of that was, because I did not recognize that immediately. So I'm assuming if that's, the theme of this featured episode, then there will be some hard choice to make in this featured episode, something something akin to being stuck between a rock and a hard place that we will have to get work our way out of that situation. So very much looking forward to this. I have not played the featured episode yet. I will be recording that and making a video of that. They'll be in a separate video, but very much looking forward to it. I'm trying not to spoil myself, but I have heard that it is a very good episode, but I've not seen any spoilers or anything along those lines. So I will be going in and doing a blind playthrough of that very, very soon. Hopefully within the next couple days. I do have a few things to do in the next couple days. I'm very busy with work, but I will try to get this done because I really, really want to do it. It looks very exciting. And one quick note here while we're talking about the featured episode is I did notice that the featured series is here in your mission log, and you can click on this, and this transwarp for this featured episode will take you right to Deep Space Nine, which is very handy. So that means for the duration of this featured episode for the next several weeks here, so from January 23rd through February 22nd, so for a full month here, you'll be able to get free transwarps to Deep Space Nine with no cooldown and no cost. So keep that in mind for the next month. That's always something nice. I always like that about featured episodes, is that free transwarp. It's handy. So yeah, so there is the featured episode. And I guess one other thing to mention about this featured episode is that the weekly reward for this is going to be a Bajoran set. And it's the Bajoran, I think, a space set. And it will match with the, I believe, a warp core that you get from the Bajoran Tier 6 Interceptor that we're going to be getting as part of the anniversary event itself. So if you want to complete that Bajoran space set, you would want to do this featured episode each week for the weekly reward, and then you also want to complete the anniversary event to get the ship, and then you'll have that complete set. All right, so that's the featured episode. The next thing here is Reengineering. And this is a really promising system, I want to say. Something that I think has a lot of potential, and it looks great. I really like that Cryptic has finally added this. I like this in a lot of different MMOs have something similar to this, and I like this type of a system where you can re-roll your stats on your gear. Just like in most MMOs, you get random gear with random stats or random perks or whatever it may be for that particular MMO, and it's very easy to get screwed and not get the bonus you want. But a lot of MMOs have caught on, like Terra and some other ones that have added re-rolling systems to their gear, so that it allows you to try to get that perfect set of perks or perfect set of mods that you're looking for. In this case, that's what this re-engineering system does. So that's what I would like to look at next, and this is just kind of a cursory look at the system. It may not be the most in-depth view, but I'm interested to check it out myself. I've seen some images from Tribble, and I've seen all of that. There's actually been quite a few iterations of the system on Tribble, but I'm very curious to see what actually ended up making it into Holodeck here, into the live production environment. So first thing is, how do you re-engineer gear? How do you access this system? So it's pretty simple to access. All you need to do is right-click on a piece of gear. So, for example, I have right here an anti-proton dual beam bank, and you can see what the mods are on this. I have the epic mod, accuracy, damage. I have the other mods are accuracy, damage ×2, and pen. Now you can see here, this was a quote-unquote failed upgrade for me because it ended up with an accuracy mod, and I didn't want that. I wanted it to be a damage 3, pen, anti-proton dual beam bank. So what this re-engineering system will allow you to do, so you right-click on the item, you say, so it's right next to upgrade item, there's a new option here called re-engineer item. Let's do that. It brings up the re-engineering menu, and you can see also here it's just another tab right underneath of upgrade. So if I clicked off and click it back on, it deselected the item, but let's go ahead and drag this in here. So this is the re-engineering system, and let's look at this. This is pretty cool. So it shows you the item here that you're upgrading, and then all of the mods on that item. So it's got 2 damage mods, it's got a pen mod, it's got an accuracy mod, and then it's got the epic mod, which is accuracy/damage. And one thing to note out here, they mentioned this in the dev blog, but I'm not sure if everyone is aware of this, but it's always been the case that epic mods have a hidden extra damage mod on them. So this is actually accuracy/damage/damage. And that has always been the case, and it's also the case with all the other epic mods that you can now get. So when you re-roll this, there are new epic mods. You can see the drop-down list down below. There are new epic mods you can get. You can see a list of them there. There are 6. So there's accuracy damage, accuracy crit D, accuracy crit H, and then crit H, crit D, and then crit D damage, and crit H damage. So those are the 6 possible mods. There were actually more on Tribble, and they took them out. There was a crit D2 one that they took out, so that's kind of a bummer. That would have been pretty cool for making like a 6 crit D mod weapon. Would have been pretty awesome, but But in any case, you can still get the crit D / damage mod, which is very, very good. So, but just keep in mind that all of these mods also have that hidden / damage on them. So that is always present even if you roll into another mod. So that's pretty cool. So, but this is the interface. So now you can click to unlock one of these. So let's say I want to get rid of this accuracy right here, right? So I can unlock this mod, and you can see it kind of pulls up it looks like a slot machine wheel basically. And it has all the other mods you can roll here, and it tells you how much it's going to cost to re-roll it. So as you can see here, I'm unlocking exactly one mod. I just want to re-roll accuracy. I'm fine with keeping the damage ones. You can unlock more. Let me see if I can do this. Yeah, so if I unlock more, you can, or you can relock them and the cost will go back down. So you can see how much it would cost before you do it. And I believe that the more you do at once, there is a slight dilithium discount. Like you can see, it's not doubling when you add 2, and it's not tripling when you add 3. It's slightly less. However, the salvage cost does not diminish. You know, it's the same each time you unlock. It's going to be 400 per unlock. So that is how that works. Now, before I go and roll this, let me just mention here that salvage is a new currency, basically. A new currency specifically for the Reengineering system. And the only way you can get salvage is by salvaging other items. You can see I have a bunch of junk items here. I did an Argala run before I went here because I wanted to see how, I wanted to show how, you know, how much salvage you can get from salvaging different items. But that's a brand new currency. And I mentioned this in my previous video that I'm a little bit disappointed that Cryptic decided to make a whole new currency for this when we got a whole new currency over here, Gold Press Platinum, that needs serious usage and it needs a serious sync and it needs to be made useful. So it's a little unfortunate that they decided to go with a new currency rather than using an existing one that really could have been used for this purpose. I mean, hell, this interface even looks like a slot machine, and what the heck, what is better for that than Gold Press Platinum and a slot machine? It just goes together perfectly. So I don't know why Cryptic decided to go with the new currency, but they did. So you got this new currency called salvage. This currency cannot be traded among characters, which is another little bit of an annoyance. It is only for this character, but you can get more salvage by salvaging any of the junk items that you get. You can see right now I've got 5,100 salvage. So let's say I just wanted to salvage this as a Mark 12 green item, just, you know, a junk item I got in an Argala run, patrol run, and you can salvage it, salvage item right here. Do you want to salvage it? You say okay, and you can see right here I got 103 salvage for it and quite a few actual crafting materials, which is kind of cool. I didn't realize that when they first announced this system. I guess it didn't dawn on me, but you do actually get crafting materials from this as well as the salvage. And you can actually get pretty good crafting materials, like if you salvage a blue item, or if I salvage a purple item, like this phaser array right here. You can get actual purple or, you know, blue or purple level crafting materials. So let's go and salvage this. Say yes. So for that, I got 448 salvage. And you can see I did get some rubidium. I don't think... Yeah, I don't see an actual purple item here. So, but rubidium is a blue quality. Yeah, rubidium is a blue quality. So maybe, I'm not sure if you can get the purple quality there, but you can at least get up to the rare crafting materials. And I've seen some items, so that you can see kind of the range there. It goes anywhere from, like, let's do a couple more here. There's a console that's salvaged for 120, so that's a green level. Here is a white level turret. You can salvage that. That gave me 98 salvage. It pretty much ranges, you know, for your typical Mark 12 gear, ranges from about, here's a Singularity Core, from about 100 salvage for a Mark 12 white or common gear, up to, I've seen a little over 500, 520 to 550-ish for, you know, very rare Mark 12 items, depending on what kind of item it is. If it's a shield or a warp core, it gives a little bit more. You receive 123 salvage. So here we go. I'm just going to go ahead and salvage all of these, and you can kind of see what they give. But this actually is pretty nice. This is going to make getting R&D materials very, very easy. And it doesn't seem to be too hard to, you know, gather up quite a bit of salvage. This just has some interesting implications for the economy, because now even junk items, even crap items, will have some value, because they'll always be worth at least that salvage value. So we'll have to see, some on the bottom end if some value items, the value of items goes up a little bit. But at least you can, I think you'll see a lot of people rolling need now and instance now for pretty much every item that drops, because it's all worth salvage now. So a few changes there, but I think it's all for the good. So I just salvaged a whole bunch of items there. Let's see how much salvage I got now. All right, up to about 7,300. So not too bad. That's enough to do a fair amount of rolls. In fact, I'm going to try this and see if I can get this to a damage 3 pen and see how that goes. So here we go. But each time also does have a dilithium cost, so you got to keep that in mind as well. So on top of spending the salvage, you also are spending dilithium. So this is a dilithium sink as well. All right, so finally we've got our salvage, we've got our dilithium, we've got our item, and we've selected what mod we want to re-roll. So we're all set to go here. Let's go ahead and click randomize. Okay, so it got to a crit D. That's pretty cool. I would actually normally be fine with that. Crit D damage is still pretty good. So can I lock it now? Yes, I can. I'm actually curious here. I'm going to try to also roll the epic mod here and see if I can get the crit D damage. Yeah, let's see if we can get it. See how many rolls it takes here. Accuracy crit D, no thank you. Accuracy damage, already had that. Crit H, crit D, no thanks. Accuracy crit D, no thank you. So I do believe that Cryptic made a change into the system where you can't roll the same mod that you currently have. So if you can't roll back into the same mod, so I won't roll again accuracy crit H on the next roll. However, as you see, you can, if you roll a different one and then you roll again, it can go back to the previous one you had. So it's a little bit of RNG protection, but honestly not very much. How many rolls am I on now? 5. So you can see, I can see this burning through dilithium. Crit H, crit damage, not there. No. I'm getting very unlucky here. There we go. Crit D damage. How many rolls did that take? 7, maybe? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, I think, because that first roll was for the other one. So, yep, 8 rolls to get to crit D damage. So here we go, though. We got a crit D 2 and then damage 3 dual anti-proton beam bank now. Now, yes, that did take, almost 8,000 dilithium. Yeah, it did take, that was, it took about 8,000 dilithium and quite a bit of salvage as well. The problem, but that is way, way cheaper. That is a lot cheaper than having to, for example, upgrade another anti-proton beam bank to Epic and then pray to RNGesus that you actually get the mods you want on it when it becomes Epic. So that is the power of this system. It looks like it will be costly, especially if you have bad luck like I just did there and you have to roll 8+ times to get the mod that you want. You are going to burn through some dilithium and salvage, but it is still way less than having to re-upgrade a whole nother item just to get the mod that you want. So it is a little bit of a sink, but it is still a vast improvement over the old system. All right, so here we go. Do I have to claim this or no? It's still there. Okay, so let's see. So there it is. We got damage 2, damage 3, and then crit D2, and then pen. So that is a nice little anti-proton beam bank there. Now, one thing I should mention is there are quite a few rules with this system as to what can be re-engineered. And in all honesty, it's very difficult to try to figure out what can be or can't be as far as a hard, fast rule goes. For the most part, a lot of weapons can be upgraded, except you need to keep in mind that some of the older weapons that had a additional second proc on them as part of their mod, So for example, anything prior to, I believe, Delta Alliance. Yeah, anything prior to Delta Alliance, they had an extra proc on these items, like biomolecular, had an extra proc on there. Oh, that's interesting. They actually show proc as a mod now. They didn't used to do that. So it used to be that these old weapons, anything older than Delta Alliance, all these weapons had an extra proc on them, but they were missing one of their mods, because that extra proc counted as a mod. But it looks like now they're, I didn't see this in the patch notes, but it looks like they are now actually say that there is a proc mod on this weapon. That's kind of cool. But the rule was, at least as far as the blog was stating it, that these type of weapons cannot be re-rolled, whereas the newer ones, like with Delta Alliance, when you go to the Thoron-infused Polaron, these weapons actually do have 3 mods on them already as a very rare, which is what they should have, and any additional procs or anything like that didn't count as a mod. So anything newer than Delta Alliance should be re-engineerable. So that's kind of the rule of thumb for weapons. For other items, it seems to be a lot of things cannot be upgraded. Like, for example, my Iconian gear, I cannot re-engineer. And it's really easy to check. You can check any item real quickly, just right-click on it, and if you see re-engineer item there, you can do it. If there's no re-engineer item there, you can't do it. Pretty simple. Now, I'm actually curious. I believe, yeah, it looks like Herald Anti-Protons can be re-rolled. That's kind of cool. So, for example, here I probably would just want to re-roll just the Epic one, because these mods are pretty good for me. You know, if you want perfect mods, you can re-roll some of the other ones as well, but I'd be happy with just getting that the good Epic mod on there. Crystalline Energy Torpedo, ooh, it can be. Crystalline Energy Torpedo can be re-engineered. I didn't think it was going to be, but oh, that's awesome. So I can get rid of this accuracy and crit H. Oh man, this is going to be a devastating torpedo. And I wonder if, oh, I don't have the Nuskin. Yeah, on this character I don't have. I'll switch to my other character. I can check a few other items, but let's check a few more here. Plasma Emission Particle, I believe. Oh, look at this. It can't be. Plasma Emission Particle. So the PEP cannot be re-engineered. Huh, I thought that was going to be able to be re-engineered since it's crafted, but I guess not. So as you can see, there's not really a hard and fast rule. Like the Kinetic Cutting Beam cannot be re-engineered. I had heard from the Tribble, people had looked at this on Tribble, that this could be re-engineered, but it can't. That's unfortunate. The omnidirectional crafted anti-proton beams can be re-engineered. However, the ancient omnidirectional, so like the quest items or the items you get from an episode, cannot be re-engineered. So also a lot of the Reputation space sets cannot be re-engineered. The Iconian space set here that I'm running cannot be upgraded on any of the parts. Yeah, anything else? Anything else? I don't believe any consoles can be re-engineered. I believe it's only weapons and space set items. I don't know of any consoles that can be re-engineered. So, yeah. So those are just kind of some rules of thumb you can use to know if that an item can be upgraded or not. Or sorry, re-engineered. I keep saying upgraded, but it's re-engineered. So that is the Reengineering System. I think it is an excellent, excellent system. It'll add a lot to the game. It'll make it so you can really customize your gear. In fact, while I'm talking about it here, I'm going to change over to my science character. And I want to double check if you can upgrade, re-engineer secondary deflectors. This was something I didn't hear anyone mention on Tribble. And let's see. Yes, you can. You can re-engineer secondary deflectors. All right. So let's go ahead and re-engineer here. I'm actually curious to see if you can re-engineer the SA plus damage. You can. Oh, what else can we get in here? So this is great. So for people out there who maybe didn't have an optimal secondary deflector, you can re-roll what the the mod is on the secondary deflector, as far as whether you want the the SA plus damage or SA plus heal, whatever it may be. You can actually re-roll that mod. That's nice, very nice. You can't re-roll the Control X. I'm not sure why. You can re-roll the EPGs. I believe you can. Yep, you can get. So you could like re-roll everything into EPG now and make like the perfect exotic particle generator, for exotic damage build. Or if you're, if you drain build, this is going to be sweet. This Reengineering system is going to be great for drain builds, because you could really optimize like everything to be for drain. That would be awesome. I could see a lot of drain builds really taking advantage of this. So that's pretty great. Secondary deflectors can be re-rolled. I like it. I like it a lot. Now that I'm on this character, I believe this character does have Nausicaan Torpedo. Now let's see here. Gravimetric Torpedo cannot be re-rolled. And we already checked the Plasma Mission Particle cannot be re-rolled. I thought I had I know I have the Nausicaan here somewhere. It might be on another ship. But the fact that the Crystalline Entity Torpedo can be re-rolled makes me think that the Nausicaan one can as well, or at least that would follow, but it may not always be the case. Coalition Disruptors, you can check real quick. Yes, Coalition Disruptors can be re-rolled. Tetrion, these are just crafted Tetrions. They can be re-rolled. Anything else we can check here? Particle field exciters, no. Let me quickly change over to my KDF, because I know my KDF character does have the Nausicaan. That would probably be the last one I'll check here, and then I'll move on to the next item. But yeah, this Reengineering system looks great. Very excited. I'm just hoping that Cryptic will continue to expand on this. Oh wait, what about experimental weapons? No, experimental weapons cannot. But here is the, oh man, the Nausicaan can't be, are you serious? Nope. Nausicaan cannot be re-rolled. How about the Terran Task Force? No, Terran Task Force Disruptor cannot be. That is unfortunate. Anything else? How about the Nausicaan, the Beam Array cannot be re-rolled. So yeah, there's a lot of things that still can't be re-rolled. So while the system is great, I really like the interface, looks great, the idea behind the system, everything seems great. It's just that there's still quite a few items that really need to be added to this system. I mean, you should be able to re-roll honestly, almost everything. Anything that has a mod on it, right? There should be a pool of things that you can pick from. I know it might be some work on Cryptic's side, so hopefully they will, in future patches, continue to add items that can be, that can be re-rolled or re-engineered. I believe this also does work with ground items. Okay, so here, ooh, I'm curious on this. So here's an advanced fleet recoil compensating ground armor, and it looks like this can be re-engineered. Let's take a look at what mods we can get on this baby. So the nice thing about this is if you want a really high crit D bonus on the ground, you can see it already has that plus 80 crit severity on it. But you can re-roll these Resols. Can these be rolled? No, they can't be rolled to damage. These Resol can be re-rolled to only other defensive mods like hit points, hit point regeneration, shield regen, hit point pool, and then Resol. Okay. So you can change that. Can we change HP? You can change HP. You can change it to resistances. Okay. Yep. The crit D. Wow, look at that. The crit D can only be changed. That's weird. You can only change it off of crit D to a defensive stat. You can't change it to another offensive stat. And let's see what the epic mod is here. HP res, HP, regen, HP. It's all defensive type things. Well, that's Oh, that's a little bit limiting, I guess. I was hoping for some options here to roll like even more crit D on this armor. Would have been pretty awesome. If I could make all these Resols into more crit D, or make the epic mod into a crit D, that would have been pretty sweet. But unfortunately, that can't be done. I do know they said that kit modules and kits themselves cannot be re-rolled. Weapons, I believe, can. Yep. You can re-engineer, this is just a standard anti-proton beam rifle. You could re-engineer that. You can't re-engineer the Nakul weapon. So yeah, just a kind of an overview, a quick look at what can be re-engineered and what can't. Like I said, it's kind of hard to tell up front whether an item can be re-engineered or not. You just basically going to have to go around right-clicking on everything and see if you have the re-engineering option. That's pretty much the only way to do it. All right, so that is the re-engineering system. I think it is a great addition to the game. I'm curious to see what you guys think. It adds a lot. It gives some value to even just junk, junk gear, because every piece of gear that drops now will have some value in that it can be salvaged. So that should have some interesting impacts on the economy. I think it will have also some positive impacts on the economy, as it will make it a lot easier to get those perfect mod weapons. Like right now, perfect mod epic Mark 14 weapons go for well over 100 million EC. If they're a good energy type, and I think this system will bring that down a bit, just because it'll be a lot easier to get that perfect combination of mods. It might also make weapons that are missing just one mod, maybe make them a bit more valuable. Yeah, so we'll take a look at that later. I think that's just a good little overview of the re-engineering system. And I definitely say, on your character I definitely say check this out, give it a try, get some nice mods on there. I do know you can also re-engineer elite fleet weapons. So if you have elite fleet weapons, you'll be able to re-engineer those. So yeah, good stuff. This will make a lot more weapons viable. Now I've even heard, I want to check this. I am going to check something here. I have heard that the blue phasers that you can get off of the Constitution class. Let's go ahead and check this out. Can be re-engineered. So this will be the last thing I'll check here. So as you know, if you have the USS Constitution, you have these twin phaser beam arrays. These are awesome because they're blue quality, and you can upgrade them freely up to Mark 12 as you go. And let's see here. No, you can't. Oh, I had heard from the Tribble that you were able to re-engineer these, and you in fact cannot. Oh, I would have loved that, man. I really would have loved, because these phasers actually look pretty cool. They have the old classic, blue phaser look from the original series, and they look great, but their mods in them are pretty much garbage. So that would have been really nice to be able to re-engineer these, but you cannot do it. Ugh, that's a disappointment. All right, so yeah, just wanted to check that. All right, so that is the re-engineering system, everyone. Very promising. Check out the blog. See if the items that you have that you can re-roll the mods on, and really optimize your gear to your play style and to your build. That'll be great. All right, so let's move on. So the next thing here is the 8th anniversary event itself. So this event seems to be very similar to the last several years, which is it is the Omega Particle event. So for this event, what you need to do is, you can see the details on it right here. Basically, you just got to come talk to Q, and once per day, you have to complete his quest to go around and collect some Omega Particle traces, which is what I'm going to do right now. So let's go ahead and do that. And this quest, this daily quest here, you need to do this for the anniversary ship as well. And we'll get to the anniversary ship here while I'm going to go through and actually probably complete this and give a few tips on how to complete the Omega particle minigame that you have to do. So yeah, I'll go through and do that, and while I'm going through that, we'll take a look at the anniversary ship stats and talk a little bit about that ship itself. That is the Bajoran Interceptor. But remember, you want to do this quest from him once per day. You can, if you want, also just farm additional Omega particles just to build up the Omega Tech upgrades, which are the best upgrades in the entire game. It is quite a bit of farming to be able to make these Omega upgrades, but the Omega upgrades are awesome, and it's a very, very good way to get epic gear. So yeah, I've done some previous guides. If you go back and look at my video on the upgrade system, I talk a lot about Omega upgrades because they're very important to that system and getting you know, epic level Mark 14 gear. It's one of the cheapest ways to do it, but it does require a lot of farming of this minigame. All right, so for the Q quest that you have to do, the daily quest, you know, you do have to complete this in 3 different areas, and that's because each area will give you a different color of Omega particle trace. So what do we got to do here? We got to go to Wolf 359. That's nice and close. So we'll do that one first, and we got to go to Bajor. Now here's the thing, I hope I don't get stuck here, because every year that this Omega Particle event has come out, there's always been at least one location where the Omega Particles are not spawning and then you get stuck. It's very, very annoying. Sometimes you can drop the quest and retake it if you run into that issue, but sometimes you're just flat out stuck. It'll keep giving you the same quest and you can't actually complete it. Hopefully Cryptic has fixed it this year, and you won't end up in an area where the Omega particles are not spawning. All right, so let's go to Wolf 359, which is right next to Sol, which is of course where the Borg attacked in the best Star Trek episode ever. All right, so let's go here. So yeah, so you have to do this Omega Particle minigame. A lot of people don't like this minigame. I actually think it is okay. I don't have a problem with this minigame, since this minigame is actually very, what's a good way to put it? It's much less based on RNG and much more based on skill. So I like that aspect of it, whereas dilithium mining and other things, there's a lot of RNG of whether you get a good... you know, if the timing is right, and if you get a good, you know, if it spends a lot of time on the high value point towards the end of the clock. But for Omega Particles, it's pretty much all skill based. So you just go up to an Omega Particle, you click to stabilize that Omega Particle, and then you begin the minigame. Now, I'll just tell you right off the bat, here's the tip, the only tip you need to know to win this minigame, and that is use the mouse. I see so many people trying to do this minigame with the keyboard, and it is utterly impossible to get a good score using the keyboard. You just can't do it. The minigame is not responsive enough, and you have to be quicker than that. So use the mouse, all right? That's the only tip you need to know to do good at this game. You do have to be a little bit good with the mouse. You know, if you are a mobile player and you click a lot, you should be fine doing this, getting 100% every time, no problem. But as you can see, basically you just have these 4 columns, and the particles come down the 4 columns, and you have to move the little indicator to that column. I already missed one. That was pretty pathetic. I'm rusty. A little bit. Give me a chance here, guys. I got to get back. Oh my gosh, I just missed another one. Got to get back into the swing of things here, guys. This is my first Omega Particle event in quite a while. Here we go. And you can see as you collect these particles coming down the 4 columns, it eventually speeds up. And there we go. So I missed a couple. And I believe 2,700 is the max you can get. I missed a couple, so I got 2,400 points. And that will complete the quest in this area, and it will give me some Omega Particle. Ooh, nice. So I got 3 blue traces and a sliver. The slivers are the green quality ones, so basically you have to take one of each of the 3 colors, you merge them together, and you will get a trace. And then you get 3 traces, you merge them together, you get the blue, and you take 3 of the blues, and you get them to make the purple, and then the 3 purples will make a the epic quality Omega tech upgrade. So that is how that works. So you do need quite a few of these to actually make a single Omega tech upgrade. All right, so let's head to the next one. So we completed that one. Let's head out here. Starbase 39 will be closer, so we'll do that first. So these you can see where the blue trace is, and then the other, there's a red trace and the yellow traces as well, and those will be the other 2 locations that we have to go to. So yeah, you basically do this. You have to do this once a day, and that will give you the tokens that you need. Let's click on it here. That will give you the tokens you need to complete the project to get yourself that Bajoran ship. So let's take a look at that now while we're going to the next system. So make sure you do this as soon as you log in. You know, with this anniversary event, you're going to want to come to your event reputation, and you can see I've already got it here. Let me just quickly do something. So just to show you here, you go to your event reputation, and you're going to see a new project here. Click on an empty slot, and you'll see the new project to collect your 2018 anniversary event reward. And this is the project you need to select. So you select this, and it'll slot your project. Make sure to slot the project. Even if you don't believe you can get the event done this year, if you at least slot the project, you'll be able to complete it in, next year or beyond, because you can use the future anniversary vouchers or tokens, whatever, to complete the older project. So make sure you slot the project and keep it, even if you don't think you can complete the event this year. But you do need to get 1,000 of the vouchers. Let's go ahead and in. You need to get 1,000 of the vouchers. I believe you get 40 per day from completing this daily. And you also get a nice infusion of 400 of the vouchers if you complete the featured episode. So make sure to do that as well. That'll give you a nice jump on the project itself. Nice jump start. So yep, so that's what you need to do. You need to complete that project, and then you'll have yourself a brand new Bajoran Tier 6 Interceptor. We'll take a look at that in just a minute. No, I don't want to beam down. But that is an account-wide unlock. Once you complete that project, you just complete this project on one character, then all your other characters will be able to go here to the store, and you go to, account reclaim, and you will be able to see the, they'll unlock the actual ship here. Where is it? There it is, the Bajoran Interceptor. So right now it's grayed out for me. As soon as you complete this project, this will become available to all your characters. So all your characters will be able to go to the account store, account reclaim, and get this ship. And this is where I'm going to pull up the information about the ship and take a look at it here right after I finish the Omega Particle event. We'll talk about the ship stats. It definitely seems to be a very unique ship. It's kind of more of a science-based ship, and it is kind of a true interceptor. I believe it has some pilot seating. It has a new exotic weapon, which I'm very excited to check out. We haven't had a new, or not exotic. What's the term? Experimental. That's the word I'm looking for. Experimental weapon, which would be great. And you know, it'll have, of course, a ship trait. You'll get also, of course, an Admiralty card, which is always good. Which is why, I mean, I always recommend to everyone, do the project for the free ships. You get 3 free ships a year, right? You get 1 for the winter event. You get 1 for the, was that perfect? Yeah, it was. Okay, cool. All right, there we go. Completed that one. But yeah, you get 3 ships per year. You get the winter ship, summer ship, and anniversary ship. And I highly recommend you actually participate in the events and actually earn the ships, because they're account-wide unlocks. That's a free Admiralty card for everyone on your account. That right there is worth it, because the time investment, although annoying, yes, you do have to do the daily grind, is well worth it, because there's no other way, there's no other amount of grinding that's going to get you a free ship that quickly in this game. If you want to grind for dilithium and buy like a C-store ship, that's going to take way longer. I'm going to go ahead and make use of this transwarp here to Deep Space Nine and get me close to Bajor. So yeah, so I highly recommend it, even if you don't like the ship itself. So a lot of these event ships have a good trait. Like for example, the winter ship had the cold-hearted trait, which is actually a very, very good trait. So even if you don't like the the Breen Raider, you still are going to get the trait from it. You're still going to get the Admiralty card. You still might get a console. And in this case, you're going to get an experimental weapon too. So I mean, you do it. Just do the event for the ship. Just there's no question about it. All right, so let's go ahead and enter Bajor. Oh man, I hope this doesn't bug out. Is it ground or space? I believe Bajor is one of the ones I've in the past has bugged out for trying to get the Omega particles to spawn, so we will find out. Particles, particles, please. Yes, I see a particle. Sweet. Oh, and you can see you can use your little scanner to find the particles as well. If you don't see one immediately, you can use that in space or on the ground. It will find the particle. So yeah, I am excited for this Bajoran Interceptor. Like I was saying earlier, it is a science-based interceptor, which will make for a very nice Admiralty card. It means the Admiralty card should have a lot of tactical and science stat on it, which is always helpful. It's nice to have that extra science for a lot of the little events that you get in your Admiralty missions. I just missed one there, didn't I? It is nice to have that extra science stat on your Admiralty cards, especially if you are a Klingon or a Romulan who don't have a lot of science ships. Okay, so there I missed one. But there we go. The quest is complete here, so I collected all 3 colors. You can see here. Now you can randomly see, I actually did get a blue shard. That's actually really cool. So as you complete these events, you can, just by random chance, you can get a additional blue or even a purple sometimes shard if you complete the event. And I do believe it's a higher probability if you get a higher score. So if you get a higher score, there's a much better chance of getting a blue or a purple shard when it comes out. So that was actually pretty good. Can I hail? Aha, I can hail them. I don't actually have to go back. 8th anniversary box. So what I'm actually going to do, I can only select one. Oh man. Because yeah, this year, just like every anniversary, they do have the party horn that you can get. But they also had, they added these new emotes. I really want to see these new emotes, so I'm definitely going to pick this first. And basically, after you've done this a few times, you could select all of these, and if you don't want, if you've already gotten all 3 of these, you could just select dilithium, which is kind of cool. But you will always get the 40 anniversary marks. This is to complete your project. And there you go. So I'm definitely going to get, I want to see both of these. I wanted to see the party horn, and I want to see the emotes really, really badly. But I want to see the emotes more than the party horn. The party horn, it's like the previous years. It'll shoot something out. There's some gimmick. I believe this one, it shoots like grass or something out. That's what it looked like from the blog post. But I really want to see these emotes. So we'll take a look at those. All right, so there we go. We got our vouchers for the project. And we got our emote box here. It's bound to character. Cross arms, flex, reading, talking. We're going to look at all of these. So that's pretty cool. So there's 2 new dances here, unusual and smooth. You get slow clap, wink, cross arms, flex, reading, talking, and burp. Okay. I'll try to show off a few of these here. Let's, we're in a good place. Oh, hey, here we go. We could look at this guy. This guy is shooting the party horn, and you can see it makes like grass on the ground, I guess. Okay. Usually they blow like balloons or, something weird, but this time it is grass. You are blowing grass out of your horn. So let's take a look at these emotes. All right. Oh no, I have to pick one? Oh no. Okay, so this is gonna be a grind then. If you have to pick one, if you can only do this once each time, you're gonna have to do this quest for each emote that you want. Oh, I did not realize that. Oh, I don't know. What do I want? Cross arms, burp, smooth dance, unusual dance? Kind of want one of these dances. Slow clap could be cool. Oh, there you go. There's the grass party horn. There is now a wink. Talking. Talking could be cool for... yeah, talking could be cool. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't realize I was going to have to make a choice here, guys. Okay, I guess it does shoot whatever. I guess those are balloons as well. Or was that from a different year? I don't know. Okay. Oh, there's the sandcastle. That was from the Enterprise event. Or not the Enterprise event. That was the Cochrane event. I don't know. Random. I don't know. Flex. Unusual. I guess I should do a dance here, right? I have to see how ridiculous these dances look. Smooth dance or unusual dance? Okay, here, guys. I'm going to do the unusual dance. It has my curiosity is now peaked. I have unlocked one emote, unusual dance. Okay, and actually, this is a good thing to mention. I saw in the patch notes that they have redone the emotes menu here. Supposedly now it has been reordered to make more sense. So let's go ahead and bring this up here. Alright, so let's do the unusual dance. Where are you? Unusual dance. Dance. Here we go. Dance unusual. Ready? Here we go. Oh my god. Is that supposed to be like the Carlton? Oh my god. It's painful. Oh my god. It's ridiculous. But there you go, guys. Unusual dance. I guess I can look forward to using this on the Ryza event or something, right? Although it probably won't require to use this particular one, because not everyone will have this online. Oh my god, that's pretty funny. Yes, everyone is going to look at how ridiculous I am right now. Yeah, this is pretty sad, guys. But there it is. Okay, so if you want the unusual dance, that's what it is. Okay, enough. I will not subject you to this any longer. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. So, what did I want to look at next? Oh yeah, the ship. So yeah, so we've been going through the event here. I showed you how to do the Omega particle and gave a few tips there. So you know how to do the event and complete the event, but you know, let's take a look at what you actually get for doing it, which is the Bajoran ship. So let's take a look at that. So let's go ahead and go to the event store. Account reclaim, and let's pull up. I like that that's here in the account reclaim now, so you can take it. You can bring up the info on the box without when it's in the project. You can't see the box itself, and you can't get info on it. But now you can. So this is the Bajoran Interceptor, and I believe it's called what's the name of this thing? I'm looking on the blog here real quick. It is the Norios Bajoran Interceptor Tier 6. And it's some kind of a retrofit to the interceptors that Bajor used during the Cardassian War. Probably like a sub-warp ship that they just used and have retrofitted. Is this a cannon ship? Was this actually in a Deep Space Nine episode, is my question. I do not recall if it actually was or not. Okay, so I don't know that offhand. I'm curious though, if anyone in the comments down below, do you know if this was ever actually shown in a Deep Space Nine episode? Because I do know they did show some Bajoran ships, but they were always just like freighters is all I ever remember. Just like freighters and maybe some Maquis ships, but the Maquis ships were always the Peregrine fighters. So I don't recall seeing this actual ship. But here it is. It is an interceptor, so it's obviously going to be a very light escort type of ship. So let's take a look here. Hull strength is 42,000 at level 60. It's a little bit on the higher side for an escort. You know, some escorts just have like 38,000, I think, hull. So it's, I guess, an okay hull for an interceptor. Shield modifier, pretty average for an escort. It's a 5.2 weapon configuration, which I do like. 2 device slots. Bridge officers. So let's take the bridge officer layout. You've got a lieutenant commander, tactical / pilot. So yep. And then a commander tactical. So you've got a lot of tactical right there already. So you got a lieutenant commander tactical and a commander tactical. But the lieutenant commander tactical is a pilot, so you could use some of those for, you know, if you want to use flyer apart or whatever it may be. For pilot seating, you could use that. You could an ensign engineering. Lieutenant Commander Science. Oh, Lieutenant Commander Science. That's cool. Reminds me of a Fayette. The Fayette has a Lieutenant Commander Science. I do like that Lieutenant Commander Science if you want to... Well, I used to throw a Gravwell on there, but Gravwell is pretty nerfed right now, for especially if you're not specialized in Control X. So, but you could use it for other things. It's nice to have that extra science slot. And a Lieutenant Universal / pilot. So a lot of pilot seating there, actually. You got 2 pilot seats, a Lieutenant Commander and a Lieutenant Universal. Definitely very light on the engineering slots, so you're probably going to want to use this Universal as a engineer. That would be my recommendation. You already got plenty of tactical slots. Yeah, you're probably going to want to use that Universal as an engineer, so you can get to your emergency powered weapons on there, and your if you want to run, you won't be able to run a yeah, actually you could run a Drake build, but yeah, you can't really. I don't think you'd really run an Ox to Bat, because you can't run 2 Ox to Bats here with the seating, so that's unfortunate. Let's see so yeah, not the best bridge officer seating in the world. You could make it work. It's very tactical heavy. The Lieutenant Commander Science is nice, but just a severe lack of engineering here. Consoles, you got 4 tactical, 3 engineering, and 4 science. That is pretty odd. 4 science and 4 tactical. On an interceptor, I'd almost always expect 5 tactical. So that's a pretty unique console layout. And the nice thing about that is if there's 4 science consoles, I'm guessing this is going to have a really nice, on the Admiralty card, it's going to have a really nice amount of science stat. Turn rate of 18 degrees per second, pretty fast, not the fastest in the world. That's 1 degree less than the Breen Raider. So definitely not the top, but that's a good enough turn rate. You'll definitely be very maneuverable in this ship. 0.2 impulse modifier, 80 inertia, so it'd be plenty maneuverable. 10 weapon power, 5 shield, 5 engine. Experimental weapon. So it comes with this weapon called Voice of the Prophets. And I haven't heard much about this yet, if it's good or not. I really hope it's good, because we have not had a good experimental weapon outside of C-Store or Lockbox ships. So if you don't have the Shook Din and you don't have the Cation escort, then you're pretty screwed when it comes to experimental weapons, and I don't like that. I'd really like to have a really good experimental weapon without having to go to the C-Store or a Lockbox. So I hope this is good. Equip dual cannons, yes. It gets the Escort Mastery package, which is pretty good. And you do get a starship trait called Harrying Maneuvers. So I'd be very curious to see what that trait is also when the ship comes out and is available. I'm sure some people have unlocked this already with low-buy, but that is nice. And I do see that it also has the warp cores here. So these are the Bajoran warp cores that you're going to get along with the ship. These, I guess, will unlock probably at the same time when you complete the project. You'll get these warp cores, or warp core and singularity core. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. All right, so it is a Bajoran Defense Hyper Injection Warp Core. What do we got? 7.5 additional engine power. Bonus when low. Okay, so we got 5 max engine power. Okay. Max warp factor 10. Gives you warp core efficiency. That's pretty good. It gives you a starship engine performance. That's okay. Add 7.5 of your engine to your shield as bonus power, and then 50% cooldown on transwarp. It looks like it does have a clicky for siphoning field. Target up to 3 foes within 2 kilometers. 2 kilometers? That is incredibly close. So this is going to be very, very niche use here. You're going to have to be like point blank with this. But it will to target, lower their power level. And for to self, after 3 seconds, it will give you power. So it's kind of cool. So it's like a drain to them, and it'll bring it to you. And it'll reduce their damage resistance rating and turn rate. So it's a pretty decent debuff, but man, 2 kilometer radius is puny. I mean, you're going to have to be right up next to something to get to use this. But it does take away some of their power and give it to you as well. So that's kind of cool. This is a pretty short duration as well for 3 seconds. So don't know how great that's going to be. But as you can see, this is that set that it is now a part of. So these other parts here you must get from the featured episode, weekly rewards. So you're going to get a shield array, engine, and then the deflector. So you'll have a full 4-piece space set if you unlock this ship and complete the featured episode. Let's take a look at the set bonuses here. This is cool. You can see the set bonuses already. So we've got 2-piece set bonus, core damage systems. To self, improves phaser damage, disruptor damage, and plasma damage. It's an odd way, the self colon. I'm not sure what that is indicating there. I don't know if this is probably Cat 1 since it's specific damage type. But that's kind of an odd way to display it in the tooltip anyway. The 3-piece bonus is going to be range modulation. Energy siphoning field, set warp core passive. Range increase from 2 to 5. Oh, okay. It's going to, yeah. So what I was saying, this oh, is this passive? Oh, is it really passive? That's kind of cool. I thought it was a clicky. But if this is actually passive, and you get the 3-piece set to make it up to 5 kilometers, that's something. It's kind of cool. So passively just flying near something is going to give you all these bonuses? Huh. I definitely have to try that out. That's kind of unique. I like that. Okay, and then the 4-piece is going to be manipulative energy siphon field. Energy siphon now additionally reduces foe turn rate by 30% and lowers resistance by 50% while providing you those bonuses. So basically it looks like the 4-piece set bonuses will improve the effects, the passive and the clicky effects on the gear. All right, guys. So that is the Bajoran Tier 6 Interceptor that you get from the event. I would say it looks like a decent ship if you like escorts. It is a 5-2 layout, as a pilot sort of ship. And it does have the experimental weapon, does have a trait. And it does have that warp core, so yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Does it have a... I didn't even see. Does it have a console? Yes, it does have a console. Okay. Bajoran Interceptor is also equipped with a console. Universal Domino. It doesn't give the stats here, unfortunately. I believe also in the blog they mentioned this, but... by overriding the sub cross wiring, blah blah blah, techno babble garbage, wiring the trait. I believe what it just comes down to is when you kill an enemy, you get damage bonus. That's what this whole paragraph is trying to say. Defeat an enemy, you get a damage bonus. Obviously, the numbers are what are going to make or break this console, but I've heard good things about this, so I'm very curious to see the stats on this and the trait as well. But that's actually not bad for a free event ship. I mean, you're getting the Admiralty card, you're getting the console, you're getting a trait, and you're getting a warp core and the ship itself. So that's actually really good, I think, as far as events go. That's a pretty good deal. So I'd highly recommend grinding this event. You can see I did the Omega Particle daily quest, which took, not that long. It's pretty easy to complete that. All right, so that is the event. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about, and I haven't talked about it yet, is the Discovery Lockbox. So it's not really part of the event itself, but this was released today along with the patch. So that is the, here it is right here, guys. I've already gotten a few of them. The Discovery Lockbox. I am actually going to go back to Sol System. I want to hang around in Sol System and see if I can see some of the new ships hanging around in orbit around Earth Space Dock, and show those off while I'm talking about the lockbox here, because I obviously do not own any of these ships because I am not rich and I do not have any of the ability to open millions of lockboxes to get these, and I'm not a huge fan of opening lockboxes anyway. When I want to get a lockbox ship, I usually just save up the energy credits to do so. But I'm looking around, I don't see any of them, which is a little bit disappointing. But yeah, Discovery Lockbox, guys, and that means this has the ships from the new Star Trek series, Discovery. Aha, there's one right there. Aha, cool. Let's, I don't know, I shouldn't have chosen my scimitar here because I'll probably be blocking it, but... So there you go, guys. There is the Crossfield class Discovery. That is awesome. See if I can zoom in here and take a look at this thing. That is sweet. Now you can see it's parked next to an Odyssey here, and there's a Reliant. So you can get kind of a sense of scale here. It's a little bit smaller than the Odyssey class. Obviously bigger than the Reliant. So that's pretty cool. And it looks actually really nice. I think Cryptic did a very good job modeling this ship. So kudos to the ship artists. It looks very, very good. Very accurate representation of what it looks like. And I have to admit the design has grown on me. I did not like the Star Trek Discovery design originally, but it does look okay now. I think Cryptic made it look good in this in the game itself. Let me see if I can go up a little bit here and get a better view of the front. There we go. Yep, so there is a front profile view there. It's looking good. It's a pretty slick looking ship there, guys. And that is one of the ships you can get out of the lockbox. So let's take a look at what this lockbox has to offer. All right, guys, so that's it right here. So the lockbox has one of these items. So you can get the Tier 6 ship, which is the Crossfield class science vessel. And this is actually, they call it a science vanguard. Oh, it left. Darn it. I was enjoying looking at the ship because it actually looked very good. But that's the Crossfield class. It's the, the Discovery. It's the, they call it a vanguard, a science vanguard, but it actually is more like it's almost like a science dreadnought. It's just missing a hangar bay, but it has the 4-3 weapons layout, like an Anorax or like a Paradox or whatever, like the other science dreadnoughts. It just doesn't have the hangar bay. So I guess that's kind of, it's just kind of its own unique ship, I guess. It's, but that's very cool. A science ship with a 4-3 layout is really nice. It has, the bridge officer seating looked pretty good. Unfortunately, it doesn't show the stats here when I mouse over the lockbox, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't think I want to go through all the stats of all these ships because there's so much here in this lockbox anyway. But I just want to say that this ship actually looks very, very promising. And obviously it'll be expensive for now, but eventually when this moves into the Infinity Lockbox, when the next Lockbox iteration comes out, all of these ships will become part of the Infinity Lockbox. Then I think this will probably become a reasonably affordable ship. If you wanted to buy it, probably around the 300 million range, it should drop down to around that. It's pretty standard for most Lockbox ships. And this definitely looks really good. It looks like it has a decent console. Good bridge officer layout, and it's just a very unique ship with its 4-3 science layout without the, but it doesn't have the hangar bay. It does have that cool spore drive effect going on that you can get from the console. That looks really cool, and I believe you can actually get that console on the KDF aligned characters as well through the lockbox. There you can get the console pack, and it's probably not very expensive. So if you want that on your KDF character, you should be able to get it for pretty cheap. You don't even have to get the ship. I don't see any other ships around here right now. Unfortunately, I can't maneuver while the tooltip is up. I'm going to go over here and look real quick, see if any other... anyone else has the ships. But, okay, well, I don't see any other ones around. But let's go ahead and pull back up the tooltip here. So that is one of the ships you can get is the Crossfield class. The other one is the Klingon Sarcophagus Dreadnought, which is a massive, massive ship. It actually looks very good as well. Looks like the design on this is pretty amazing and pretty accurate. So very nice job on both of these ships, Cryptic. It looks really, really good. Now, this Klingon ship is a dreadnought carrier. So it actually is, it looks to be quite powerful along the lines of like the Jem'Hadar dreadnought carrier or, you know, other dreadnought carriers out there. It's definitely not very maneuverable. This is very much a very slow ship with an incredibly high hull strength. This thing is going to be like a super tank. And it comes with a trait called, I believe, Honor Dead. Honor Dead, yes, there it is. Yeah, it comes with a trait called Honor Dead. And it is going to be... that trait, I've heard, is an amazing tanking trait. It gives a huge amount of shield and hull resist, and I believe some health regen as well, and it stacks up while you're in combat. So this thing is basically a super tank. Probably not the best damaging ship out there, although it depends kind of on how well its pets do. It's kind of your standard dreadnought carrier otherwise. Yeah, pretty cool. So both of these ships look amazing. And both of them have some, you know, definite potential. They look really cool. They were very accurately rendered in-game and look amazing. So I think this lockbox is actually quite awesome. And I should also mention, along with this lockbox, is it does come with, or doesn't come with, but they also released a low-buy ship with, you know, along with this lockbox, like they do with most lockboxes, so you have something to spend your low-buy on. And it is that ship that is the Walker-class Exploration Cruiser Tier 6, which is also another cool ship from Discovery. A nice, very cool-looking ship. This one is a, they call it a cruiser, a light cruiser. So I believe it does actually have a commander engineering. It is actually a cruiser, even though I always thought that it looks, the Walker looks more like an escort, honestly. Just the layout of the ship with the, you know, how the nacelles are. Reminds me more of an escort, like a patrol escort. So, but anyway, it is a cruiser, and so that is something you get with low buy. And that ship, I'm not quite sure if I've heard too much about that ship yet. I think the bridge officer layout's not the best in the world, but it does have some potential. It does have some unique consoles and traits as well. So that's really cool. I have to say, you know, having the three, you know, big ships from the show is really good. And I'm frankly pretty impressed that they actually got this Discovery lockbox out so quickly. As far as, I mean, the show is not even one season old yet, and it's already we're getting the material in Star Trek Online. That's quite impressive. But yes, so it comes with those three ships. You at least got to see the Crossfield class here around Earth Space Talk, which was really cool looking, looks very good. You've got your, it does come with your consoles, so yeah, if you are on Federation, you can get the console from the Klingon ship, and if you're on the KDF faction, you can get the console from the Federation ship, which is that spore drive looking thingamajig. It is the clicky effect. You can also get the traits. They have a whole bunch of ground traits that you can get now, new space and ground traits. I have not read on all of these. I'm not quite sure the stats on these. I'm not sure if any of these are worth getting. I'll have to investigate that. And it also comes with, so there's, yeah, some new universal kit modules, also something I might want to do a video on. Maybe take a look at, I always like to do videos on ground kit modules and do my universal kit module review series. It also comes with Discovery weapons. I've heard some good things about these as well. So these are these new, what are they called? Emitter-linked and I believe sensor-linked weapons. Are they all phasers? They could be phasers or disruptors. Yeah, phasers or disruptors. And they have a cool effect where they give a global, I believe, accuracy, a small global accuracy and crit D bonus to all other weapons. So if you stack up enough of these, it could be actually quite good. Although you probably wouldn't want to just run one of these because the amount of that global bonus you get is pretty small for just one. Anything else? Discovery Vanity Shield. Every Discovery web box comes with a chance to give a Discovery Vanity Shield. So I think I remember Cryptic did mention this at one point where they may add just vanity items. So I guess these vanity items you can only slot them into the appearance slot. They don't actually give any stats. That's kind of cool. Interesting idea there. I didn't realize they implemented that in this lockbox, so that's kind of cool. Minitech are consumable devices, so you've got some new consumables. You got your normal boost packs that you can get. Anything else here? R&D packs. So yeah, so that's this lockbox. I just wanted to mention it because I think it is actually really cool that we are getting Discovery ships already now. I mean, that was really quick. Just a little bit bummed that there's nothing for Romulans. Of course, they haven't really had Romulans in the show, but so it doesn't really make sense to put it in the lockbox. But it is a disappointment because I am a Romulan lover. I love the Romulan faction and the Romulan ships. So a little bit disappointing not to see anything there for Romulans. But what we did get for the KDF and the Federation do look really, really good. Yeah, I don't see any other ships, unfortunately. There's a Nebula class flying by. That's pretty cool. But anything else I wanted to mention here? Now, just to finish off, there were a few patch notes that caught my eye. I thought are worth mentioning, and yeah, I thought I'd make note of here. I don't want to go through, obviously, the whole patch notes. I've already talked about this, all the new content quite a bit here, but a few things that caught my eye on the patch notes. So they did add something now for loadouts. So now when you go to your loadout, it will show the last saved or loaded loadout, and now the cooldown is only 5 seconds. So I haven't actually used loadouts in a really long time, so I'm not actually going to click this because I don't know what is there. I could just save my... yeah. Save to standard. So yeah, it does let you save to the current. Yeah, so now it's nice because there's a reduced cooldown, so you can switch between them more easily, and that's always nice. I've shied away from the loadout system ever since there was at one point there was a bug that people were reporting that items were disappearing, like disappearing as in gone forever. So at that point I stopped using the loadout system and never went back. I believe that bug was fixed, but it's just something that I haven't really found the need to use, so I haven't, gone back and forth on that. A couple other items here from the patch notes. We got weapons and buff powers no longer automatically slot into the tray, so that's kind of cool. So now when you're swapping around your bridge officer powers and whatnot, they won't be popping in and out of your tray. That's kind of nice. I do hope. One item that I've always been annoyed by is that I've had these I don't see them here. Oh, where? There they are. The Starship emotes. These things will pop into my tray at random times, and it drives me bonkers. So I hope that also fixed the issue of these Starship emotes popping into trays as well. That would be excellent. I'd love to see that bug fixed. Anything else here? I mentioned that the emote UI on the ground was changed. And I actually, when I did that dance, I got kind of caught up and I didn't actually take a look at that. And why did I meant to dock? When I was looking at the emote Emote UI, it looks like it's just basically it's been sorted a little bit, you know, in a way that makes sense. Like it's basically just alphabetical is what it looks like now. So it should be easier to find the emotes that you're looking for. So yeah, no issue there. That's a nice little change. There were lots of changes to the fleet, the Draenor colony items. And honestly, a lot of them looked like pretty significant nerfs. In particular, the weapons, the fleet weapon, or the fleet colony weapons, they changed the proc on those weapons now to be per firing cycle instead of per shot. That is a huge, massive, incredible nerf. That's one of the nerfs that kill in season 13 that killed Entropic Rider of the temporal, in the temporal specialization. And it also is what killed the, well, it's part of what killed the Plasma Exploder Embassy consoles as well. Those were made per cycle. That's a huge nerf, and it makes me think that these weapons, you might want to, you know, if you were using those weapons, you might want to take a second look there and see if they're still worth using, because they may not be after all these changes, which is just bad. It's not a good change. In fact, a lot of weapons now proc so rarely, especially, you know, they also fixed Beamfire at Will back with Season 13, so now it doesn't give extra procs. Procs are just so rare at this point that they're almost, it's almost hard to even count them very significantly in like DPS runs. I mean, like mostly like a DPS ISA run will only last like a minute to 2 minutes long. You may only get a couple procs now in the entire run, so it's not as huge of a deal as it used to be. Procs are just not as big of a deal anymore. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't like the per cycle proc. I prefer per shot procs just because you actually get to see the procs every now and then. They actually can, you know, help your performance. What else? Something that caught my eye that they mentioned is they resolved an issue that could cause ground mines to detonate several times on the same target. I don't know what that is, and I hope that's not a nerf to mine barrier for engineers on the ground. That would be bad. I love mine barrier on the ground, so I hope that's not a nerf to that. Causal reversion now triggers directed energy flux. Oh yeah, that's the Hushnok trait. So that's kind of cool for people who are running the Hushnok trait for a cannon rapid fire build. That'd be a nice change for them. Oh yeah, also the TR-116B and the Plasma Mission Particle Torpedo. So those two crafted items now can get unique crafted mods when you craft them. So they're like pen, I believe. So I'm curious to see now if they'll be able to get pen mods on these. That's pretty cool. They did make changes to the Furyodon Fangs ground weapon, which was that melee weapon they added a while back. The changes actually look kind of cool. They changed how the momentum buff kind of works, and now it stacks and has a longer duration, and actually sounds kind of interesting. So any of you ground melee players, I mean, that's quite a niche. Or ground combat is already a niche in Star Trek Online, and then ground melee combat is probably a niche inside of a niche. So yeah, for those players who do like the melee combat on the ground, you may want to take a double look at those Furyodon Fangs, as they should be pretty decent. I don't actually have them on this character, I don't think. Yeah, I believe they're on my temporal characters where I actually got those. I'll check if I do have those on another character while I'm finishing up here. I think there's only one other thing that I saw here, which was the they mentioned a nerf to Tholian captains on the ground. Their web mines got a pretty significant nerf. So I guess that's kind of cool. I mean, Tholians were kind of a pain in the ass on the ground, so yeah, here we go. So here's the Furyodon Fangs. So that momentum buff now, and now it lasts a lot longer. Sorry, I don't have that. Where is that patch note? Now they last longer, and they stack. Is it stack differently? Or stack, that gives more stacks. So let's see, stack of momentum now lasts 25 seconds instead of 10. That's pretty significant. And then the stacks now the secondary attack now consumes 2 instead of 3 momentum, and the tertiary attack now grants 5 in addition to the heal if it's used to kill a foe. So it's easier to stack up, and then you use less for the secondary attack. So that's a pretty nice little buff. So there you go, guys. If you're into ground melee combat, it should be an interesting weapon. Worth probably taking a second look there. So there you go, guys. That is the 8th anniversary event. That pretty much covers everything. I mean, we got the featured episode, we got the Reengineering System, we got the event, we got the Discovery Lockbox, and then all these little patch notes here. I mean, you'll probably want to go through the patch notes. There are lots of little bug fixes and other tweaks in there you might want to take a look at, but those were the ones that kind of jumped out to me. So I believe that pretty much covers everything. So a good anniversary, I think, this year. I'm definitely feeling positive. This is the first really, solid amount of content we've had in the game now for a long time, since well before the Christmas event. We haven't gotten anything new. So the Reengineering System is something great. It actually gives you reason to grind a little bit more. It's something, some goal, in-game goal that you can work towards. So that's all great. So some good content here. I definitely think this is a good anniversary event. So I believe that covers it. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this 8th anniversary event, or any of the ships, or maybe the Discovery Lockbox. How do you feel about that? But like I said, I will be coming back in a future video to do the featured episode. Very much looking forward to that featured episode. And yeah, I might take a look at, like when I complete the Interceptor ship at the end of the event, well, towards the end of the event in a few weeks here, once I finish the project, do a video on that and take a look at the Bajoran Interceptor as well. So yeah, there it is, guys. All right, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it, and that's all. Bye for now.